everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books and we are back to our regular schedule of just talking books, not Christmas. So I'm sure some of you will be very pleased to hear that. Welcome back if you have been avoiding me for the month of December. Okay, for this final video of this year, I just wanted to do a little recap of my 5-star books, the best books that I've read this year, and maybe give you some inspiration of books to pick up. Let's have a conversation about these books down in the comments if you wish. But yeah, I just wanted to share what I have loved reading this year. Now, in some years, I have had quite a few 5-star reads. This year, I've only had 8. And at the moment, at the time of recording, because I am filming this on the 27th of December, so it's possible that I will read another 5-star book before the end of the year, but unlikely. I am up to, sorry, I'm just flicking through. I've read 60 books at this point of the year, and I've got a couple on the go, so it'll be more than that by the end of the year. But out of 60 books, only 8 I've given 5 stars to. So those are the 8 books I'm going to share with you today. Most of them I have right here, but a lot of them I do not have right here. Actually, not a lot of them. 2 of them I do not have with me. And one is because I listened to it on audiobook, although I do have a physical copy, so I'll hold that up. I'll hold that up when we talk about it. The other is because I've loaned it to my mum because I loved it so much, and I think she will also love it so much. So when we get to that, I'll let you know which one we're up to. Okay, let's start in January. I'm going to go chronologically by when I read them. The first book that I gave 5 stars to was back in January, and it is this one. Eventually Everything Connects, 8 essays on uncertainty by Firth. This is graphic essays, as in graphic novel. Is that what you say? Graphic essay? Graphic non-fiction? Graphic to me, when I say graphic, I often think of like explicit, but that's not what I mean. Although there is a bit of explicit stuff in here. So if that's a seller for you. Anyway, I loved this essay collection, and the reason being is that Firth, let me just say from the back what she's talking about. They're calling it a graphic novel. Okay, so even though it's not a novel, they're still saying graphic novel. Okay, so we'll call it a graphic novel. It's a collection of interconnected visual essays created over 8 years. Sarah invites you into her wild mind as she explores ways to see with fresh eyes, to face the inevitability of change, and to find freedom in sensuality. So this was, the essays are different, so they're on different topics, but to me this was just like my neurodivergent mind connecting with her neurodivergent mind, and that really felt very personal and special to me, and I thought it was excellent. So if you are neurodivergent, I think you'll probably enjoy this. If you're not, but you enjoy listening to people who have really interesting ideas and like are seeing things from a fresh perspective, I think you will also enjoy this. And it's fun, it's funny, it's heartfelt, there's gut punch in there, there's all the things. So this was excellent. Highly, highly recommend. I'm definitely going to reread it, probably early next year, I would imagine. Okay, the second book that I read that I gave 5 stars to was in February, which was a good reading month for me because I have 2 5-star books from this month. The first one is How to Say Babylon by Safiya Sinclair. This is a memoir about Safiya Sinclair's time growing up in Jamaica. And her parents are Rastafarian, and the father's interpretation of Rastafarianism is very it's very male dominated, controlling, and strict, violent at times, and so it was definitely hard to read, and but it's written in such a way that it was written almost like it was a novel, in that the emotionality, the writing style, all of those kind of things really kind of grab you and pull you in. There were I cried reading this, and I also was very much like rooting for her and for her family to kind of like get out of the horrible situations, and for things to come right and to come good, and for them to find the strength to say no and no more. It was a hard book to read, but so rewarding and so beautifully written, that it also felt like a treat. This is excellent, and I again highly, highly recommend, almost unreservedly. Unless there's something in here that's like, check the trigger warnings, because she definitely talks about some stuff that's like pretty full on. So if those trigger warnings are not for you, then steer clear, but otherwise I would say 100% read this book. It's excellent. Okay, also in February, I read Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This book won the Booker Prize in 2024, and I thought it was excellent. It reminded me very much in many ways of Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, in this idea of kind of like the style where you're kind of jumping in from the mind of one character into the mind of another character. It's very introspective and reflective. Characters kind of just thinking, because I guess when you're in space, there's not much else to do. So there's a lot of just thinking about stuff going on, as these characters are in space watching a big storm unfold on Earth, and not being able to do anything other than, communicate what they're seeing from space, worrying about their families and people they know, and things like that. Just watching this big storm, I think it's a storm, yeah, just sort of unfold from above. Really, really interesting book. But if you're not a fan of that style of like, and there's not a lot of plot pulling this book along, it's more, it's kind of more floaty and inside the mind. So if that's not your thing, then this probably isn't for you, but it is very much for me, because I really like that sort of thing. So highly recommend this one also. The next month, March, I read a poetry collection that I thought was excellent, and it's called Even in the Dark by Rose Lucas. I enjoyed this so much, and the thing that I enjoyed the most about this poetry collection was the nature writing, and her kind of like thoughts and descriptions of natural things. She's from Western Australia, I believe, or she lives in Western Australia, and this is put out by UWAP, which is the University of Western Australia Press, or publishing. Yeah, publishing. P for publishing, not press. Anyway, I believe that's where she's based, and I just really enjoyed the poetry. I thought it was really beautiful, and I loved it so much that I sought out another collection, which I'm actually currently reading. It's an open book on my shelves right now. I really loved the poetry in this. You may too, if you like those kinds of things, that kind of like descriptive, very nature focused in many ways, a lot of the poems in this collection. So yeah, I think she's just a master of her craft, and I highly recommend. Okay, then I had to wait till May for another 5-star, and then I was like, screw it, I'm going to read the next Heartstopper, which was number 4, and I ended up giving it 5 stars, as I have done, I think, with all or almost all of the previous Heartstopper installments. In this one, I don't want to say too much because this is volume 4. And if you haven't read volume 1, I don't want to spoil it for you. But in the whole series, we are following 2 young men, as in they're in high school. And they, throughout the first book, they are kind of working out that they're interested in each other, and they end up, that is a spoiler, they end up together. And then the subsequent books are looking at different aspects of their relationship and the things that are kind of coming up for them in their lives. So yeah, this is another installment of that. I won't go into the specifics of what happens in this one, but I loved it. It's so wholesome and really beautiful, the way that these 2 people love each other. It's really lovely. Okay, then I had to wait even longer, all the way to September, before I read another 5-star book. But then I read this one, Wait Here by Lucy Nelson. This is a short story collection, and the stories in this collection are all about women who don't have children for different reasons. Not all of them, some of them wanted children but couldn't. Some of them have experienced loss. Some of them have never wanted children. There's all sorts of different people that we learn about in this collection. But that theme is almost like over here, because the thing that's amazing about this book is Lucy Nelson's capacity to connect you with the characters in such a short space of time. Reading the first story, I was sort of just reading along, and then she just did this thing where she made me forget what the kind of like, because at the outset you know basically what's going to happen, but then you kind of forget that that's going to happen, and then it happens, and by the time it happens you're invested and you really care about these women, and then you're like, oh no. So yeah, this was just a great collection. I mean, there were stories I connected with more than others within it, but there were no duds in this collection, which I think is like top tier short story collection, because so often we can have these experiences where, you know, you're like, I love that story, this one not so much. But there were no stories I didn't like in this collection. I thought they were all excellent. So I highly, highly recommend this short story collection. I think it's amazing. Okay, we come to the books I don't have with me at the moment. The next book that I read was in October, and it is Words to Sing the World Alive, which was edited by Jasmin, McGaughey and The Poet's Voice. This is again a collection of sort of very short essays, 2 to 3 pages, most of them, and they are all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander writers, although not all of the people who are writing are known for their writing. There are some people who are, you know, they're just elders, or who are prominent Aboriginal people who are not necessarily writers per se, in that they have a writing career, but each of these people take a word from their the language of their people, and they talk about that word and what it means to them. And some of them have, you know, these really beautiful reflections on the power and the beauty of their language and how important it is to them. And I thought it was excellent. Again, you know, I connected more with some than with others, but yeah, I just found it fascinating and also beautiful, and also really poignant and important. And I was grateful for the opportunity to read about these things as somebody who lives in Australia but is only an English speaker and is not an Indigenous person. It felt like a privilege to be able to read these little essays that these people had written. So again, highly, highly recommend. The very last book that I rated 5 stars this year was a reread. So all of those other ones were first time reads, but I will hold up this one, even though the specific edition that I was doing was an audiobook. So it's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. However, it's an abridged version, and it is performed by Sir Patrick Stewart of Star Trek fame. And this is a an abridged version of this story that we listen to on Christmas Eve every year, and we've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. And it's great every single time. He does such an excellent performance. There's bits that are funny, there's bits that are, you know, heartfelt, and he gives it his all, basically, and makes it super enjoyable to read. Now, it also, because it's an abridged version, it only goes for, it's less than 2 hours. So I think it's an hour 45 or thereabouts. So it's really easy to listen to in, you know, just to sort of have on in the background while you go about your Christmas Eve business. So that's what we do each year, and it's fantastic. So I highly recommend the Patrick Stewart performance of A Christmas Carol, which I listen to on Everand, but I'm sure it's available elsewhere as well. Okay, so those are my 5-star books that I read in 2025. Now, the question is, which of these 5-star books was my favourite book of the year? The best book that I read. They're all great, but I have to say that the best book I read in 2025 was Wait Here by Lucy Nelson. I just absolutely adored this, and I am waiting with bated breath for whatever she's about to put out next, because this was a debut, and I just think we have not heard the last of Lucy Nelson. I think she's got amazing things in store, and I can't wait to read whatever she publishes next. So yeah, I'm super happy to say this book was amazing, and it's Australian, so that's even more exciting for me to be promoting a book that's from somebody who is from the country I'm from. So yeah, I just highly recommend it, and I was so excited to read this and to discover a new writer that I'm going to basically read everything that she ever puts out. Okay, so that's it from me for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments, if you're not recording a video or putting out there somewhere on social media what your favourite book of the year was. I'd love for you to pop it in the comments and let me know what you've loved reading this year. If you've read any of the books I've spoken about in this video and you want to talk about them, happy to talk in the comments there too. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent new year if I don't see you before then, and I will see you in the new year as we go forth with a new year of content, bookish content. So follow along if you would like to see more book related bits and pieces in 2026. Bye.